All right, we're here at the CCA workbench for the Fish Bites Trading Post Rigs and Techniques, and we got Shaw Grigsby here, you know, Bass Hall of Famer. He's going to tell us a little bit how to catch these big Florida bass we got. We're going to start off with some topwater.
Yeah,
talk.
you know, right now, this time of year, of course, Florida's a vegetation state, so we have a lot of vegetation from hydrilla and lily pads and all that. Yeah. So topwater first thing in the morning, you know, walk the dog. But you know what Florida really is known for? All the topwaters work, but a prop bait is exceptional.
Right.
You know, whether it's a double prop or a single prop bait makes that little zzz sound when you're popping it, and they go. Yeah, they love that.
What are your favorite ones of those prop baits?
Well, I mean, it'd be like a devil's horse or anything like that that's got props. Yeah. If you got props, it's going to work. Okay. And so topwater I start with in the morning, and then
bladed jigs.
Yes. Around the grass beds, edges, pockets, get in those hydrilla edges, and you catch them on a bladed jig. So that's real good. So that's 1 and 2. The way you're going to catch the real big ones, though,
flipping.
We take a TK 130 trocar, big old flipping hook. We put a bug on it. So now what we do is we take an ounce or an ounce and a half tungsten. Now this is lead, so this is not a tungsten weight. Tungsten's about, you know, a third smaller.
Right.
Now a lot of people, you put that big tungsten on there and you put a small bug, a scound bug, any little critter bait. And the reason you want it small is because when you put the weight on it, it makes it a big package, but also it goes through the slop real easy. So flipping through that slop is how you're going to catch these things, those big old pigs like that. So a lot of people will put a small bobber stop. You can see that right there, a small bobber stop on it. And what happens with that is it keeps that weight from moving. It puts it all in one package. But when the bass eats it, you've got to get that big weight out of his mouth before the hook penetrates. Right. So I don't do that. I'll take this thing off, and I'll just fish it like this. So this will punch through the mat, and usually you kind of pitch it out, punch through the mat, the weight goes through the mat, and then this weight goes down, and this is held up on top of the mat. Then if you pop your line a couple times, that weight is holding it. It'll pull it through, match up, and there you go. So let it get down. Normally we let it go all the way to the bottom. Just check it gently and check it again. Bring it up.
What's the advantage of the tungsten again versus a lead?
It's smaller. It's much more dense. It's smaller. Usually we're using, you know, 50 or 65 pound braid. 65 is normal, but a lot more bites with the 50 than you do with the 65.
Now, is there any color preference for braid when you're doing that?
I use green. You can use green or black. Some people carry the black magic marker and go up and down and just do 6-8 feet of your line.
I got you. Now, do you use any kind of like frogs during this time of year?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Now that falls into the topwater. And what's cool about Florida, because we have so much junk, those hollow body frogs, incredible, sexy frog. Fire them out there, again, 50 or 65 pound braid, good stiff rod, and just pop it. Now these things you can walk, you know, by light twitches, or you can pop them, you know, by popping the head. And so you're just quick snaps with the rod tip, and it makes them more.
Now you actually mentioned earlier that you like to use some of the frogs with the little paddles on the back as well.
Round lily pads and stuff like that where you have scattered vegetation, tremendous. It's like a buzz bait, but it's an ATV buzz bait. It'll go through anything because you got it rigged weedless like this. You throw it out and you just...
And it's a little smaller as well.
But you got to let them, you know, when they go poosh, you're watching the water go, so don't just jerk.
Right.
Immediately when you see that strike, and this is pretty much on all your topwater baits, you see that strike, just give it that half a second or second.
Yeah, that's one
and then come back
That's one of the big mistakes that most people get. They jerk that bait away from them, you know, because they see the strike and they get all excited and just haul on it, and here comes the lure coming back at you. Because it's best to let him grab it and swim away with it first, and then put the power to him. Now, do you use many big worms
all the time.
as well?
Florida is since it's vegetation, Texas rig, soft plastic worm, incredible, or weightless, either way, you know. And so you're just firing it out there, and you can swim this, or you can just let it fall down, Texas rig, and just pull it through the grass. They love plastic worms. That's a universal. I mean, that's like, you know, bass fishing 101, that's the bait you want to have.
Yeah, I like to use these, you know, this is called the RSB worm, redneck spinner bait, and I like to throw them in the lily pads and just burn them back across the surface.
You can race them.
And they love to smash them when they're up on the top like that.
You got to feed them too on that one. When they hit it, drop your rod.
Yep. Yeah.
Take a crank. And
Well, we got about 30 seconds, Shaw. Is there any other thing up here that you'd like to say?
One thing I always like showing is this hook. We talked about the TK130. That's your straight J hook. But this little guy right here, and that's the Pro V bend. So it's a TK135 trocar hook. This thing is incredible. That little pocket right there, when you stick them, that seems to put it in their jaw right there or wherever, and it won't let them go. So you tend to catch a lot more fish with that.
All right,
hook.
that Pro V gets them locked down.
That's it. That's what it is.
All right. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming out here, brother.
Absolutely.
So, Bree, you know what I love about Shaw
Everything.
Grigsby and the Hall of Famer that he is?
Yes.
All his cool sound
I
effects.
know. Firing out there.
You just don't know where he's going.
Incredible sexy frog.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Yeah.
That was